Okay, good evening. We have a very wonderful discussion to talk about this evening. It's a very important one. The overhead topic states clearly, we're looking at what Tanko Yakasi, the statement he made in respect to the ongoing national debate, ongoing discussion of Amotekun, and you will agree with me that several reactions have been following that, but I think I have a keen interest on the statement of Tanko Yakasi because of several importations, several words he made, several acknowledgements he submitted to in that statement. That is really what we want to look at. That is really what we want to dissect this moment, looking at what Tanko Yakasi have said, looking at what might have propelled him into arriving on that submission, and we will equally try to make an inference as much as we can by marrying together his submission, events that are happening today, and these bipolar resources will help us to make a very good inference, as regards to what is happening. First of all, before we move Mazi Chika Austin, and of course, without any apology, a student of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, one who believes in his strong philosophy, who believes in his, incorruptible drive for remaking of Africa, remaking of the identity of the once oppressed people, talking about the Biafran people. So this evening we are going to look at what Tanko Yakasi have said. I think is almost in all the newspapers, and I believe my voice is coming out loud and clear. Very, very important before we speed up to make a resounding analysis to what Tanko Yakasi have said, as regards to the Amotekun. Very, 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 very important. So if my voice is coming out loud and clear, then we have no other option than to speed up as much as we can. Good. So Amotekun may help Southwest, Southeast, and South break out of Nigeria. This is what Tanko Yakasi is saying today in respect to the ongoing debate on Amotekun. And first of all, it's better we profile. It's very, very important we start by profiling the identity of this Tanko Yakasi. Who actually is Tanko Yakasi? Is he an ordinary player in northern Nigeria geopolitics? Is he a passive character? Because the essence of profiling him is to know how relevant his words, how weighty his opinion, his submission will be in the whole socio-political development in Nigeria. Very, very important, because if a main man is speaking, that is quite different from when a stakeholder, an opinion maker, is speaking on same topic. Tanko Yakasi, of course, is an elderly statesman, no doubt about it, and a founding member of Arewa Consecutive Forum. Make no mistake about this. He is a statesman of northern extraction. He is a founding father of socio-cultural group, and also one of opinion influencing group in northern Nigeria, known as Arewa Consecutive Forum. So he's not a man who just speaks and you take it as a passive statement from a passive actor. That is the most dishonest judgment anyone could give to the character of Tanko Yakasi. So he's an elderly statesman. He's a member of Arewa Consecutive Forum. And this man today, looking at Daily Post, although too many newspaper platforms lifted up his submission as regards to the Amotekun debate, the ongoing Amotekun debate. So he said too many things, he caught a lot of attentions in course of delivering the interview or in course of granting an interview to pressmen. But he made a striking statement which is the area I want us to put our attention to make a critical evaluation on. And the man said, Amotekun may help Southwest, talking about the Oduduwa or the Yoruba people, the Southeast, South to break out from Nigeria, to break out of Nigeria. What does this imply? It means there is some understanding he have concerning Nigeria unity or various agitation for self-determination that most people don't have. And what is that understanding he has? It means that when we talk about the agitation for self-determination as currently strongly ongoing in Nigeria, Tanko Yakasai have made us to understand that such movement, such pressure, such demand is not only being championed by the Biafran people. He have equally made us to understand that within the corridor of the Yoruba political elites, within the corridor of the Yoruba leaders, there is a strong drive for self-determination by the Yorubas. So you can now understand how they are viewing it, because remember from ab initio, in course of our attempt to profile his identity, we all agreed that he is one of the founding fathers of ACF, Arewa Consecutive Forum. That means he is speaking from the point that this northern socio-cultural group view things. He is speaking based on how them, within the northern perspective, how they are seeing the nation, how they are seeing every single unit or every single region that made up Nigeria. So he's saying today that, come on, it is true that the Biafra agitation seems to be the most pronounced one, but they understand, they equally have this understanding that the Yorubas, the sons of the Duduwas, are equally pressing forward for their own self-determination. What does this speak? This can now show you that the consistency, the resolute spirit, the unrepented press forwarding of IPOB, of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, of every Biafran towards self-determination have ignited the fire of self-determination in everyone in Nigeria except the Fulanis. Do you understand what is actually playing out? Because if Tanko Yakasi is agreeing with the rest of Nigerians today that the Yorubas are equally on the path of self-determination, that they are pressing forward for their own separate country, is an indication, one, that there is a reversal of policies, there's a reversal of understanding by some people who joined hand, who aided and abetted the killing of over 5 million people from 1967 to 1970, whose crimes were simply because they are asking for the same thing that the Yorubas are asking today. Because Yakasi is saying that Amotekun is a kind of propeller that will help for the materialization of the Oduduwa self-determination project. So it now shows that everyone who took part in the suppression, in the killing of the Biafran people in 1967 to 1970, it shows that everyone is strongly having a rethinking. Everyone is beginning to appreciate the fact that Nigeria unity is a hoax, that Nigeria unity is the worst deception they have ever subscribed to. And that is amazing. That is wonderful. It's indeed revealing, because nobody believed this, that the North are now seeing that their former allies, which are the Yoruba people, are on the Nigerian project. This is a submission of a stake of ACF, Arewa Consecutive Forum. Yakasi is the one saying this. He's saying that Amotekun is a machinery put in place to speed up the realization of Biafran project and Oduduwa project. You can understand, you will appreciate how consistency, how resoluteness of IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have changed the political landscape of Nigeria. It doesn't matter whether if anyone would dispute that fact, but the truth remains, like he always said, that the freedom is for everyone. Every people who seek for it within the Nigerian contest. We can now appreciate, because Nnamdi Kanu never gave up, because he never took what was presented to him on the table. That singular act have become a booster, have become a propeller to the Yoruba nation to come out boldly, according to Tankoya Kasai, to press forward for their own self-determination. At least you can appreciate this. And what does this equally teach us in further knowledge? It's an indication that when you talk about Nigeria, presently, you are talking about the Fulani projects. Out of various compositions or various ethnic compositions that you find in Nigeria, it is obvious that no other ethnic group or bloc is interested in the Nigerian project other than the Fulanis. Isn't that amazing? And why would these people suddenly make a reversal change? Very, very important we talk about this, because you must understand the place of causation. Something caused the action. The Yoruba people wouldn't have revised or make a choice of revised gear without anything, without any stimulus. There must be a propeller, something propelled. Because you should understand that same people were in alliance with the Fulanis to stop the Zitin Biafrans. From 1967 to 1970, they formed alliance to stop people who were asking for self-determination, who were asking for a better life for their future, for the future of their children, who were asking for a redefined way of life. These people all came. There was a consensus within these other parts of Nigeria to make sure these people never seceded. never hesitated. But today, the same people, the same friends, are now turning up in a deep disagreement. I want to tell you that nothing forced the Yoruba, the Middle Belt, because the Middle Beltans you can see today, what is it called? The governor of Plateau State, Talong, if I'm not mistaken, is being warned by a Middle Belt group to pull out from Northern politics and focus on Middle Beltan politics. If you have been following today, you see that because the Plateau State governor is the chairman of Northern Governors, Northern Governors Forum, yes. And today the Middle Belt, a group of pro Middle Beltan, Middle Belt group is warning him to make a revise and focus on Middle Belt. And if you see today, you find out that the same Middle Belt is working assiduously to get out of the union. But mind you, these are the same people who were sold the storyline of Nigeria is indivisible was given to them, and they took it hook, line, and sinker. They were committed to it until later days. Nothing made them to change their mind, if not the truth unveiled to them by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB in general. Make no mistake about this. Nnamdi Kanu, yes, is pressing for Biafra restoration. But let me tell you, all his actions and inactions were all lessons to even non-Biafrans. That is how it is. If he had failed, if he had given up, if he had submitted to the bullying, to the trauma, to the subjugation, to the torture, to the inhuman approaches meted on him by the Nigerian government and some of the international friends, believe you me, the Yoruba people wouldn't have stand tall today to tell you that at worst they can move for Dudua Republic. The Middle Beltans would not have been talking about self-determination. And that is where sacrifice comes in. Yes, he's a Biafran. He's talking about Biafran project. But his inability, to sustain the spirit, his ability not to accept corruption, his ability not to allow the psychological trauma to weigh him down, became a booster, became a stimulus, became a propeller to even non-Biafrans who wants freedom. And that is the current development in Nigeria today. At the background of the Southwestern governors, their socio-cultural group Afenifere, at the background of OPC, at the background of whatever group you will find yourself supporting the regional integration in Southwest, at the background of their knowledge, at the background of their boldness, lies on the fact of what Nnamdi Kanu, his strong and fearless position, becomes a propeller and sustainer to the rest of Nigerians who are looking for freedom, who are seeking for self-determination. It's not all about, he's not just fighting. Yes, his primary constituency is Biafra. But beyond that, we have seen his boldness, what his boldness have culminated into. We have seen how his boldness, how his resolute spirit have rejuvenated in the minds of non-Biafrans to seek boldly for self-determination. No before now, no one dares talk about self-determination. No one dares talk about contra view from the Fulanis, from what the Fulani political elites have. You dare not think of it, you dare not conceive it. But today, we are seeing people coming out in boldness, coming with all sincerity and honesty to tell you that they can consider that is part of thinking line. So that is it. So Yakasi have made us to understand that the Northerners, because the statement he may say, Amotekun may help Southwest, South, and Southeast to break out of Nigeria. May help. That means within the eyes of the Northern allies, there is this understanding within them that the quest for self-determination is already ignited in so-called Southwest, Southeast, South. They have understanding that there is a strong pressure for self-determination. Now, let me tell you one amazing thing about this. What succeeded in holding Nigeria together to date is because of the misinformed consensus. I repeat, what helped Nigeria to remain one today is because of the misinformed consensus among the ethnic compositions in Nigeria, where they believed that one united Nigeria means well to everyone. And what will speed up Nigeria disintegration is when these blocks equally have another consensus on the need for disintegration. And that's exactly what is happening today. There is an inverse belief from what a particular outgoing generation, the outgoing generation, I'm talking about the generation of IBB or Obasanjo, they were deceived by Britain to subscribe on the mantra of one indivisible Nigeria. And within the 50 years of practicing this mantra, everyone is now convinced, especially the current generation of Nigerians, everyone is appreciating the fact that that mantra of indivisibility is nothing but falsehood. It's as simple as that. Because within the 50 years interval, people have endured to see a progressive society. People have endured to even see an energy independent nation. People have endured to see a productive nation. But they have discovered that the whole lies was meant because of British interest in oil, not because there is any special thing. I could remember when we were growing up, and we are told, of course, one of the lies that the larger countries are, the better. We are told this. But as time progresses, we have discovered that such narrative could mean falsehood. Take, for instance, Nigeria is large. We believe that Nigeria, that was the story we are told, that as big as play a vital role in African. But everyone is beginning to appreciate the fact that even Rwanda today, Ghana today, Tanzania today, Ethiopia, Angola, and other smaller African nations are doing incredibly well and responsible than Nigeria. The truth remains. So sorry for the delay bit on network. Now, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that people are beginning to realize that there is nothing, is a half truth to say that when a country is large, that she's going to be a productive society. People are beginning to realize that such is lie. And let me tell you, like I said earlier before the brief network interruption, we have seen that smaller countries in Africa are doing progressively well. Talking about Ghana, talking about Rwanda, talking about Angola, talking about Tanzania, talking about Ethiopia, and all the rest of them. We are not discovering that what drives developmental progress in a nation is not how large that country is. It has to do more with ideological agreement than geographical agreement. Ideological agreement is what drives a country developmentally, not geographical agreement. Let me give you a clear instance. For the fact that in Nigeria, there are dissenting and disagreeing, a strong dissenting and disagreeing ideological differences. You know, the man at the north believes in widespread of Islam. That is what he sees as a project. The Kanu government is talking about implementation of Sharia. If that is achieved within 4 years of a particular tenure, is a good achievement and the people applaud. And someone in the East, his own vision, his own plan is how to revamp education, how to carry out other capital projects. Someone is talking about theocratical system, entrenching of theocracy in his land, in the north. His drive is more of theocratic system of governance. And the other side is talking about democratical. It's talking about republicanism. And you believe that is where most of Nigerians get it wrong. And that is the worst deceptions they have given to themselves. And you believe that these two fellows can come together and run society. It will never happen. Because the word progressive, what it means to the northerner, I'm talking about the core northerners, is obviously different from what it means to the southerners. One is talking about republicanism, another one is talking about theocracy. It's talking about Sharia, talking about conquest and all the rest of them. So when you understand this, you will not discover that no amount of prayer can bring unity in Nigeria. No amount of prayer. Because from the mind, there is competition. Competition is already activated. So that is what we have to. So from what Yakasi have said is an obvious reason for everyone to understand that the Nigerian project is fastly deteriorating. And the earlier you understand that, the better. So we must encourage for peaceful dissolution. There's nothing bad. Britain is walking out of EU. There's nobody is hitting anyone. We have seen several agitations. Nobody is killing anybody. So I will encourage the international community. I will equally encourage the Fulanis themselves, the Connaughtoners themselves, to understand the imminent of this dissolution and work for peaceful dissolution, which is for the betterment of all. Yes, it will be for the betterment of all. If for the years nothing is working out and now there's still unhealthy competition, lives are going down, people are dying, millions, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are dying, I think it's hard time everybody sit on the seat and work towards peaceful dissolution. So from here, I want to thank everyone that joined us and appreciate mostly for your time you give to us at this moment. Like say, may God preserve us, and above all, may God keep on encouraging people to see the need for disintegration, and peaceful one indeed. Thank you. From here, I want to say goodbye.